Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is a two-wheel drive pre-runner now with the twin Proline I-beam kit up front. Previous to that, this chassis was the Axial 10.3 Jeep Rubicon with the ability to have dig or first gear and second gear option. This one has been stuck in first gear from its previous days of rock crawling. And now, since I want to go fast, I'm going to show you guys how to take that transmission apart and remove the spacer if you want to put a servo in and have first and second gear in your rock crawler chassis. But what I'm planning on doing is taking the spacer out and moving it to the other location to lock this guy into second gear so I can get more speed. So stay tuned. We're going to go step by step through this. Hopefully this will help some of you guys, because I couldn't find a whole lot out there on the internet or YouTube of how to do this. So let's dive into it. Here we go. 2mm hex. We'll remove this top bar across the motor. Take the two bolts out that hold the transmission in place. Also remove your two bolts that are one right in front of the battery box, and there's another one on the opposite side right here. So once you get those two bolts out, you just pick this up out of there and simply remove the transmission from the vehicle altogether. Okay, looking at this thing from the back side, we have a bolt here and a bolt here. Rotate it 90 degrees, flip it over, and you have two more bolts on the back side. One here and one right here. So when you take those four bolts out, we'll be able to split this guy down the middle right here and get right to the spacer that I'm talking about. Now, it's a good idea, keep your hand on this while you're unscrewing the last bolt of the four, so that it just doesn't fall apart and your gears come out with bearings and grease, and then you're like, where do they go? Okay, so now, since we've got all four bolts loose, we're going to take and pull this apart. As you can see, we do have gears and bearings on both sides, and it's kind of sophisticated transmission if you've never put one of these together or cracked one of these open. So be careful with that. Now, the part that we want to work on is the part that does not have the motor attached to it. So you can take this part and carefully just lay it aside. We're gonna rotate this guy over. This is your dig that's nearest to the drive shaft. We don't want to mess with that. This, however, is the one that switches from first to second gear. All right, guys, so what I did was held onto this, worked it back and forth, and had my needle nose pliers on the end of this silver rod to unthread this. So what we're going to do is take this guy off and move him out of the way. And what we have now is, let me get my pointer. This spacer, this black spacer, that's what locks your transmission into first gear. If you want to hook this up to a servo and make this actuate back and forth between first and second gear, what you have to do is pull this pin out of this assembly very carefully and remove that black spacer off from that pin. Remove it completely off. Insert the pin back into the yoke and back through the hole. And then use your needle nose pliers and then thread your linkage back onto the threaded part of the rod. If you don't want to do that, and if you want to be a go fast guy like me, what we're going to do is leave that sit the way it is. We took the pin off from this side of the bracket. We're going to insert this pin, then we're going to thread our shift lever back onto the end of this rod by using the pliers or whatever you want, and put this back on. So we're going to do that right now. We've got our lockout installed. We put the spacer, it used to be on this side, it's now on this side, and it's now locked in second gear. If you, again, don't want the spacer, you're gonna have to put the servo in to actuate from first, second gear. So it's really pretty simple process. Just be careful when you take it apart and pay attention to where the gears go, because they sometimes do fall out. All right, time to put this back together and get it back in the truck, see if it works. There we go, guys. Back together. We'll get our bolts back into around the belt housing here to the frame. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you can make your transmission go first and second, or first lockout, or second gear lockout. In this case, this one is second gear only. We'll power it up and see if it works. Now it's time to go fast. This one came in the Rubicon, the old Bronco, CJ7 that they just discontinued, and the Renegade. So I am now locked in second gear. Like I said, guys, if you don't want to lock it in second or it be locked in first, just take that black spacer completely out. And have a great day, guys. Happy New Year. We'll see you soon.